Hi guys. Let's see if Kina allows this to process. For those that don't know, Kina is my kitty cat, and she's just walking all over the place tonight. We're continuing on with the puzzle, part 4 of that short story by the wonderful Kelly Frank Allen. And we're starting with a quote by Colin Gunton. Quote, "In our desire to impose form on the world and our lives, we have lost the capacity to see the form that is already there. And in that lies not liberation, but alienation, the cutting off from things as they really are." The chapter title is Evolution of the Experts. It was interesting to watch as individuals set out to explore their surrounding tables and the groups represented at these tables. Some approached the other tables with a sincere interest, wanting to learn what had been revealed in the alternative puzzles, quote unquote, while others went in armed with huge insecurities about their own group's understanding of the puzzles. The latter, therefore, sought only to find differences they could report back at their home camp. Still others visited neighboring tables with the intention of saving these individuals from their, quote, false understanding, and with a determination to convert them to what they themselves had found to be the true insights revealed to them and confirmed by truth. As pleased as Brotherhood was with the cohesiveness of the respective groups, he was saddened by the group's growing divisiveness and disparity. As things evolved between the groups, the individuals within the differing groups began to solidify in their beliefs and understanding of the puzzle's representation, so much so that within the groups, they even assigned leaders within their ranks to provide the groups with direction to further solidifying, affirming, and defending the truth of the puzzle's picture and all it represented. Progress within varying groups on the unfinished portion of the puzzles had come to a complete stop, and the former puzzle solvers had deemed it more important to defend their perceived truths and enlightened others than to further explore the meaning of the puzzle. Often truth would pass by the groups and encourage them to revive their hunger for greater understanding. But by now, the leaders in the groups held a higher status than even truth, and she found the individuals defending themselves against her as well. Truth called on Brotherhood to join in her efforts to alleviate the dissension that was rapidly developing between the groups. Brotherhood explained to Truth that he had been diligently trying to intervene on Truth's behalf. However, he was unable to convince the individuals to move past their perceived differences and recognize the truth they held in common. He knew that by getting them to take their focus off of their perceived differences, they would be more inclined to notice the commonalities of their puzzles and be inspired to return to making progress. Perhaps they would even unite in their efforts. At this point, I turned to the teacher and I asked, "Teacher, if these people will no longer allow Truth and Brotherhood to reason with them, is all hope lost that they will complete the puzzles?" By this point, I so desperately wanted to see the puzzles completed that I couldn't stand the thought of progress no longer taking place. The teacher smiled at me in that reassuring way and said to me, "You needn't worry. There is still more to be learned and much to observe." Moving on to the next chapter entitled Enter Fear. We have two quotes leading up to that. One is by Wallace D. Wattles, Wallace D. Wattles. Quote, "You can never become a great man or woman until you have overcome anxiety, worry, and fear. It is impossible for an anxious person, a worried one, or a fearful one to perceive the truth. All things are distorted and thrown out of their proper relation by such mental states, and those who are in them cannot read the thoughts of God." And then the second quote is by Marianne Williamson of the Course in Miracles fame. Quote, "Love is what we are born with. Fear is what we learn. The spiritual journey is the unlearning of fear and prejudices and the acceptance of love back in our hearts. Love is the essential reality and our purpose on earth. To be consciously aware of it, to experience love in ourselves and others, is the meaning of life. Meaning does not lie in things. Meaning lies in us." Enter fear. As the teacher and I continued to watch the groups grow louder in their cries of need to protect their sacred understanding, quote unquote, it became apparent that the tension between the groups was growing. Rather than remaining focused on their own puzzles and on the effort to complete the task presented them, the groups had now begun to focus on the development of their arguments against their neighbors, and so they could be well armed to defend their truth when truth and or brotherhood stopped by. With righteous indignation, the groups each held fast to their understandings and gradually held tighter to the perceived threats from the other groups. This was when I first noticed the new character who had appeared in the room without notice. This new character also bore a name tag. The name tag read, "Fear." "I didn't see Fear enter the room, teacher. Where did he come from?" I asked. The teacher again smiled and responded, "You didn't see Fear enter the room because Fear didn't enter the room. You see, Fear was introduced by the very people truth and brotherhood had been seeking to help. The puzzle solvers themselves, by ignoring truth and brotherhood and turning against them in their insecurities and defensiveness, have introduced Fear into the room." As I continued to watch Fear move from group to group, inciting false concerns and ever-increasing worry, my heart sank with understanding. I could see the direction this was going. More importantly, I was beginning to understand the greater meaning this represented. The teacher turned to me, and I was surprised to see he had tears in his eyes. I asked the teacher, "Why are you sad, teacher?" He replied, "I am not sad. I too see where this is going, and I am all too familiar with where this has gone. Over and over again. But I cried tears of joy, for I am able to discern your perception and understanding. Your hunger for truth and brotherhood has led you here. Please continue watching with an open heart and mind." I had never noticed it before, but on one side of the room was a cafeteria counter. There was a sign on the wall above that read "Lunch at noon." There was also a clock on the wall which read 11:45. I assumed this meant that everyone in the room would be given the opportunity to take a time out from their puzzles and partake in a lunch break. I assumed wrong. I continued to watch as the groups continued to set up their defenses against one another. They began to construct dividers between each other with the partition walls found in the room. They separated their tables and began to section off the room into their respective group zones. By the time noon came, one large group had sectioned off access to the cafeteria counter, thereby eliminating the ability for other groups to partake in the food provided at lunchtime. The group with access to the cafeteria reveled in the fact that they had a surplus of food and drink, and announced to the other groups that this was their reward for having solved the puzzle and for possessing the true understanding of the puzzle. Brotherhood and Truth visited this group and encouraged them to share food with the others, but the group leaders insisted that the others could enjoy the same blessings if they joined this group and held to everything it represented. Once again, my heart felt like it would explode with what these actions revealed to me. As time went on, the tension between the groups grew stronger. Eventually, no one worked on the puzzles at all, but focused all energy entirely on securing boundaries, to the extent that it became difficult for Truth and Brotherhood to pay even occasional visits. That's where we're ended tonight. Next one up would be part 5, and that would be the chapter starting with First Signs of War. All right, guys. Love you very much. Namaste, and see you soon. Bye.